What's up, y'all, and welcome to the next episode of Sports Talk with a Lions fan. And I got my dog with me again for this thirsty Thursday. Go ahead, my dog Curt. What's ham on this thirsty Thursday?
What up, though, man? Thursdays. Y'all know how I get down, man. Y'all know how my man do it on Thursdays, man. Make sure you go check his Instagram page out. It's your man, Professor Curt Steele, man. Glad to be back with y'all.
Yeah, man. You know the creator of the term thirsty. Well, for me, thirsty Thursday. You know how it goes. So we over here doing it. Like some real grown gentlemen over there. What you got? To see you puffing on that stick. What you got over there, Curt?
I just got real. This is like one of my budget cigars, man. It's a Quorum. It's a Nicaraguan. It's a handmade. It's a Maduro wrapper. So it's good. It's got a sweet start to it and some chocolate in it. A little bit of
Okay,
spice on the back end, but got to do it up.
okay, okay. Is it, from what I understand, is that one of the ones you would call a sit down cigar?
It's more of it's a everyday type of joint. It's a smaller one. It's a robusto, so it's kind of like 45 minutes, something like half an hour, 45 minute smoke.
Okay,
Just drinking a little soda. I ain't doing too big tonight, man. I gotta get up
okay.
early in the morning.
Same, but in the essence of Thirsty Thursday, I got me a little drink here. Got some of that old Henry and a little cola.
Yeah, but I gotta represent the boys. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna be
Uh,
talking Lions, I gotta be drinking out of my Lions cup. You know what I'm saying?
what? Well, you don't got to diss me like that, Kurt, because I ain't that fancy yet. I ain't got no fancy whiskey or drink glasses yet. So we just red cupping it. So, and my
Okay.
stick here is a nice house blend. Let's just call it that. But yeah, it's mock draft season, and I went ahead and did that mock draft part two. I just went ahead and sent that to you. And I did some trades. So, Kurt, you ready to go ahead and look at that
Yeah,
thing?
excuse my dirty chair behind me. My doggone birds and got my chair. I just noticed that.
Oh, well, you good. You gotta get them back. That's all. That's all. So let's go ahead and take a look, man. In this draft, I ended up drafting 8 players. We got 9 picks now. End up with just one short of that. As you can see on the screen there, I made a trade. I moved up to pick number 5, and this is how. Well, this is a part of how. Well, these are the trades they ended up making. I moved up to 5 with the New York Giants. I traded them pick number 17 and pick 128, and next year's first round pick. Also, I did this mock draft through Pro Football Network. I had it set on the consensus player pool or whatever it is, and this is what we got. So, and this is I don't know if this is a trend or not, but I don't know if you've been listening. Allegedly, his Sonny Styles draft position has been dropping. Per some people, he's been allegedly been drafted outside of the top 10. So if that is a reality, maybe we might see some fireworks, some trades being pulled off to move up and get this guy. But so I made that trade and I went over and I got Sonny Styles at 5. What do you think about that trade and that pick at number 5?
Man, I love this, man. Yeah, yeah. If y'all been watching us over there on Boss Up Ball Out, man, this is I had to give. I'm gonna bring it up, man. I had to give you a boss up for that one, man, because that's a boss move, man. I think Sonny Styles is probably the most versatile player in the draft. Like I said, his athletic ability translates to the field. So you like what you see and on the field is what you see in his athletic scores. So man, that dude is a monster. He can cover. He can play inside linebacker, outside linebacker. He can cover. Former safety. He can play the star position. Whatever you want him on that middle of that front seven, he can do it. So I would love to pair him with Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes. Man, I think he would be a monster on our defense.
Could you imagine that? Way I've been thinking, because shout out to Coach Dan over there on Lions Talk Live. He said that you would draft a clone of Jack Campbell. You would draft if you would. This would be, I don't know, not a clone, but let's say if Jack Campbell is Terminator, if he's
Mm-hmm.
what was he 1,000 or whatever it was, and then if
Mm-hmm.
you seen Terminator 2, and could run a little bit faster, he could turn into liquid. He was all types of different stuff. So and that was T2000, I think, or T10,000, whatever he was. If
Mm-hmm.
this is a clone, this is the same model. Jack Campbell is the 1000, and Sonny Styles is the 2000. He is lightning quick. He is as far as speed and athleticism. Not to say that Jack Campbell is not speedy. Well, nor he's not athletic, but he's not necessarily the fleetest of foot. But this guy, you won't be able to say that about him. So you got the measurables up there. This gentleman goes, what's like 6'4", 6'5", 200 and almost 50 something pounds, ran like a 4.4 or something like that, RAV score, out of this world. So next up at pick 50, the Philadelphia Eagles came a calling and they offered up pick number, was it 54 and something else, or 157, I believe. And I went ahead and took that trade, and in that I took the guy, well, like you said, Coach, or like you said, Professor Curt Steele, over there on the line, over there on Boss Up Ball Out. I've talked about this guy. He's another RAV score monster. This is Bruiser, running back out of Arkansas, Pig Sooie, running them old-fashioned Razorback running backs. And this is Mike Washington Jr. Every measurable, every score, every whatever you want to call it, points this guy into the right direction. What do you think about Mike Washington Jr. if you're familiar?
He's a north-south runner, man. He's one of those guys that he can really, fill the mold of demo. You know, what I'm saying, depending on how it works out with Pacheco, but not sure, if they would take a running back that high, but you never know with Brad Holmes. But I would like to go edge right there, but I can dig it with Mike Washington Jr. Man. He feels that need for a number two back. If you look at Pacheco and you look at uh Jameer Gibbs, they kind of out of the same mold, what I'm saying, they're not, but I think Pacheco's a more physical runner, but he's not as big as a demo. But he can catch out of the backfield like Jameer Gibbs. And, he's a north and south runner, but that Washington Jr., man, he brings that little thump in there that we missing without demo.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we signed Pacheco, and he right back to doing the stuff that I hate, doing these workout videos where he out there and he going so hard that his hat falling off. So I guess
Mhm.
is all I'll say. So right back to that draft. Next pick or actually let's take a look at that the trade again, because that's what it was. I got from the Eagles, I got 54. And actually, I could put that on the screen. From the Eagles, I got 54 and 98. And then at
Mm.
98, the Steelers came a calling, and they wanted 98, or they was at 99. They wanted 98, and they gave me a pick in next year's draft. So at 99, I took Edge, Alabama, power rusher, LT Overton. You got any opinions on this guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of made it what we kind of like already have on the squad. A power rusher, like a Davenport type of guy. You know what I'm saying? He pushes that pocket. Uh, I like. I want Hutch with a speed rusher. You look at what he does with the speed rusher on the other side, like how he with Al Qadim Muhammad. Man, maybe that may be a little bit better, but we'll see. Overton's a big dude, man. 6'3", 274, man. That's a wide body load, man, for a defensive end. Kind of made out the mode that the Lions like in the defensive end, just not as tall, but only a 6'3". But I can dig it. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. So, Bama don't really draft, sign no dogs, you know what I'm saying, as far as no fluff players, man. They want guys who are, mean and nasty. So he can make a difference on our defensive line, man. And, put him behind DJ Warner, man, and he can learn for a year.
So I'm with you. I would like to, well, you kind of, in a way, Hutch might be looked at as the power rusher. So you might, you know, like you said, pair him up with like a speed rusher. I'm not against that idea. Do you got a name out there who, let's say, around this area, like at 99, who may be available, who you would look at?
Ooh, not at 99. maybe the one guy who can play edge, who has edge experience and is pretty fast is my man out of LA. He's that linebacker out of LSU, Perkins Jr. So he kind of fits that build of a Derek Barnes where he can play on the edge and he can play linebacker.
Okay. He's speedy too. I think he was at. I don't know. It was something up with some of these pro days. Like I don't know. Some of these guys running 4.3s and all that. I don't remember when 4.3s was like unheard of. I get that now these players is bigger, faster, and whatever in the hell, but I don't know, Curt. So let's go ahead and look back at that draft. So next pickup was at 118. It was a few talented players there. At this point though, the best player on this, the best player available at this point, at a position that we may want to look at, and this is this gentleman, Sam Roush, tight end out of Stanford. Are you familiar at all with this guy?
Not familiar, but I'm familiar with Stanford tight ends, man. Stanford is one of those schools that produce good tight ends. They're not quite Iowa, but they actually have a strong tight end as far as what they do with their tight ends. I like what they do. And if you look at the ones they've had in the past, man, I would definitely look at a guy like him coming out of a school like Stanford, man. He's that's one of the schools they utilize a lot of two tight end sets. So and they had that Y banana play. The X2 Y banana was that always what's my man
Gruden.
Gruden.
Spider
He
2
always
something Spider Y, whatever it is.
Spider 2 Y banana or something like that, whatever it is, and that always is a good play that right there in Stanford. So yeah, I could dig this young dude out of Stanford, man. He's physical, he can block, man, and that's probably what we need, what I'm saying, because you look at a guy like we got Brock Wright getting a little longer in the tooth, man. He got another year under his contract, so he may be a guy who can push for some playing time.
Right. And like you said, we also signed what's the third tight end? Conklin. We signed Jack Conklin as well, so we had some depth there. So this he may push somebody out the door.
No,
but like you said,
Tyler Conklin. Jack is the tackle.
Oh, Jack. Sorry, you're right. Tyler Conklin. So my apologies, Conklin families. But for that exact same reason, we was great minds think alike with that one, Curt. Stanford tight ends usually come out and play pretty well. And the rap on this guy was initially he was there because he could block, and then they actually gave him an opportunity to catch some footballs, and he looked real good doing it. So that's possibly adding some depth at tight end with that pick. So next pickup, 181. One of our original picks. This is this gentleman. He's been in a few of our mocks. I think I might have took him into one and our last one over there on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. But this guy, sticky cover corner, Andre Fuller, out of that seemingly hot defensive back program down there in Toledo. What do you think about? Well, shout out to Toledo. I know people down there. So what you think about that, Curt? Andre Fuller out of Toledo.
Look at Fuller, man. Got some good size to him, man. Long, and he can cover. He's sticky. If you put him out of the mold, out of my man that's in Philly. If he can do half the things that guy do, man, he'll be a real good pickup for our secondary, man. We need some bigger corners. We got those small cats, man, out there right now, man. With my man DJ, me out,
DJ Reed, yeah.
I really wasn't big on that cat coming to the line anyway, man. We already had a small corner, even though he's gone now. But I like Meek, man, but I would like some more size out there on the edge, on the perimeter.
Man, whatever happened to Chase Lucas? Chase Lucas, I feel like everywhere he go, he pop out and play pretty decent.
I think he signed with the Commanders too.
Well, shout out to Chase Lucas, but that's what this guy reminds me of. Chase Lucas, even in preseason, he just made plays. He dropped a couple interceptions, and then he finally got one. So this, at least as far as like his coverage and everything like that, that's who this guy reminds me of when I was watching him. And he plays long.
He went to Tampa. I'm sorry, he went to Tampa. He's at Tampa.
I like that for him.
Yeah, definitely.
In that kind of that mode, very sticky guy, like I said, out of that out of that blazing hot defensive backfield down there at Toledo. So, like I said, adding some depth there in the defensive backfield. All right, Curt. Next up in this Sports Talk with a Lions fan mock draft part 2 at pick 205, I beefed up the interior defensive line. I missed out on some picks that some guys that I do like the Godfather Deontay Corleone and or Tim Keenan out of Alabama. Two big sturdy nose tackles, just true through and through nose tackles. But I got some beef in there. Out of the great another doubling up. You know how Brad Holmes like to do sometimes. I'm not saying he'll do this at all, but he might have saw this guy. I'm gonna say I saw this guy on my scouting trip to see Mike Washington Jr. And I saw Cameron Ball. I see how big and mean he can be in the middle and how sturdy he can be. If you got anything on Cameron Ball, go ahead and let me know, Curt.
Big nasty defensive tackle, man. Huge body, fits in well with our two guys with Talik and with Aleem McNeil. I mean, you look at the measurement, 6'4", you know what I'm saying? Hopefully he can be better than the last big dude that we drafted in the later rounds. Big project, hopefully he's better than that cat, man. But yeah. I like the pick, man. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't very highly recruited out of high school, only a 3-star, but your stars don't make you play. You know what I'm saying? What you do on the field make you a star. So I can see us with a guy like that, with that big size, man, and what he can do with what Casey Rogers can do with that cat, man, and make him a good piece to our defensive line.
No. Right on, Curt. Right on, Curt. So, another a familiar name this time around at 213. I went with the brother of Sonny Styles, and that's Lorenzo Styles Jr., defensive back out of Ohio State. Like I said, I got this pick where as I would like to say, I got this idea from you. I ended up looking at this guy. He was another one of those names that was popping, or as you like to say, popping at the combine. He put up all of those
Yeah.
great measurements and all, just all the athletic numbers and all that kind of stuff. It comes from seems
Yeah.
to be outstandingly athletic family. So what do you think about this guy, Mr. Lorenzo Styles Jr.?
Yeah. You got Furious Styles in the first round, and you got Chaos Styles, you know what I'm saying, later on. So I like Lorenzo Styles Jr., man. Very athletic, man, can make plays on the ball. Um, not he's a good coverage, but he can actually thump too as well. So, like I said, man, he's very fast, uh, decent size, man, at a little over 6 feet and about 200 pounds. So I like what he brings to the table, man. Those Style brothers, man, they do some things on that field. So I like Lorenzo Styles Jr. Even if we're not able to get um Sonny Styles, you know what I'm saying, as far as trading up to get him, I would still take Lorenzo Styles, man, just for the set his versatility as far as in the back end. And of course, with the way the injuries are going to our secondary, especially the safety position, we need that depth, man. Even though we signed some veteran guys, it's always good to have some young studs in that backfield.
Right. And we drafted a young guy last year, Dirty Dan Jackson. So maybe this,
Mhm.
could be, some competition for him. Definitely a special teamer. But I think Lorenzo Styles, wherever he lands, could definitely, get some work out here. So, and then last pick for us, Mr. Relevant for this draft at least, that is yo boy, center, Mr. Pat Coogan out of Indiana, Mr. Rose Bowl MVP. Please, Curt, tell me all about this guy.
Man, I like me some Pat Coogan, man. He's a pulling pin type of player, man. He controls the offensive line. He's a very smart guy. Fifth year, I think 5-year guy in college, man. Transferred to Indiana, and he's one of those guys, man, that he can flat out play on the offensive line. He's a really natural center. You can play him at guard, so he's very versatile. I mean, if you got him where he was in this draft, A- is definitely, if he falls that far, that would be definitely a guy for the Lions to pick up, man. I like him. He brings some depth and experience, man. He had a lot of starts in college at the center position, so I mean, why not, man? That the guy we got now, Mays, he's not he was a converted center. He started out as a guard, man, but Pat Coogan, he's a center I mean, he's been playing that position forever. So I like him in the draft, especially in that pick.
Word. Shout out to you and Coach Mike. Coach Mike screams about, just a guy that's a center, not a guard that can play center, not a tackle that could maybe play center, but a center. And that's, a guy that can, just play that position. So, oops, I had that up there. Just to break down, because I know you had mentioned that the grades on some of that, those are the grades on that trade there. But overall they gave my mock draft a B minus. I don't really care. So I guess overall, how do you feel about it? Is B minus fair? What would you give it?
I'll give it a solid B. It's a good. I mean, like I think the only thing that probably brings it down is the running back in the second. If you see the D minus, me being professor and having to grade students. Yeah, I understand you grade. We're not grading on the curve here, so you got to give students, saying what to think. But overall, I mean, like you feel a lot of needs in this draft, a lot of depth pieces. I don't think the Lions draft 8 players. I don't think they draft 7 players. I think they might go with a good 6. I think they're going to move up this draft board, and it's because of the fact I don't think there's 9 spots on the Lions right now.
All right, so let me know down in the comments what y'all think about that draft and any of those positions. You can let me know what you think about that trade, about the big trade, those other trades, or any of those players. You like Mike Washington? Do you think I deserve the worst grade in the D plus or whatever they gave me? So how do you, or just now we're gonna look at the draft. Of course, the draft is about a week away, or a week from when I'm gonna put this out away. Make sure you stay tapped in. We're gonna be doing all types of stuff. I got plenty of friends that's supposed to join me, so we'll see how that plays out. But just looking at some just draft questions for you, Curt. How likely do you think it is that Brad will trade up from 17 on a scale of, let's give me a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably about a 4. Probably about a 4. It depends on who. If there's a run on offensive lineman that it's projected to is going to be, then I think that he may move up if a player like Sonny Styles becomes available. I've seen it where he's the number 2 pick, and I've seen like he's out of the top 10. So a guy like that is a transformational player, what I'm saying? And not saying that we don't like Jack Campbell, but this Sonny Styles is he's a generational talent, man. And you put that guy on any defense, and he's going to be a game changer, man. But I mean, you look at what the draft positions are. You keep hearing what he says. He says, if it's a guy who doesn't meet, saying what they think they want a player, they're not going to reach for him. So, big name or not, and it's not a secret. Lions fans get mad at Brad Holmes for what he says, but he's been consistent the whole time. He said the same thing every time. We're going to get the guys that fit us and the guys that we want. So if they don't, they got to fit the scheme and the team, which means they got to fit what they want to do on either side of the ball, and they got to fit the culture of the Detroit Lions. And if they don't do that, man, they're not going to be, no matter what the name is, they're not going to pick them. Like think about the young man that went down to Atlanta, man. Everybody was James Pierce. Oh man, we gotta get that dude, man. We're gonna put him on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, man. Look at that dude and his off the field issues, man. He had him in college, and now he didn't.
And a part of that story is from Detroit. So imagine.
Yeah.
So imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. But we gonna talk a little bit more about Brad Holmes in just a few seconds. But how likely do you think it is that Brad Holmes will trade back from pick 50?
From back from 50, I'll probably say, depends on who's there. I'll probably say about a 7. About a 7. I think he may trade back just to get another to get picks in the 3rd round because he doesn't have any. So if he wants a 3rd rounder, Brad does pretty good that 3rd and 4th round, so he may try to get some more draft picks in that area. So I'm not saying I'm convinced 100% that he'd do it, but I would say it would be one of those things where I would see him doing that.
Word. I don't know. I like that. I mean, that's a good thought. At least, I agree with that. Since we're doing that, I give you one of them. Yeah, trade back maybe to get a third rounder or two, or maybe I think you might trade some of those. We got a couple of fourths or something like that, or
Mhm.
I don't know. I remember a few years ago, the Baltimore Ravens had one of those quote unquote historic fourth rounds, but I don't know how many of those players are still playing football. But so another question is another thing that's hot in the Detroit streets, at least, hot up and down 7 Mile, if you want to say. Or what road is on Woodward, because that's where Ford Field is at. Or is
Mhm.
on Mac. I know you got to take the Mac exit getting off 75, but the one that's tearing up the streets is Sam Laporta being mentioned in all types of draft day trade scenarios. So would you include Sam Laporta in a
Man,
draft day trade for Sonny Styles?
ooh, for Sonny Styles. Uh, for Sonny Styles, that's possible. for that guy, maybe. Yeah. You give me Sonny Styles. What I'm saying, I might have to say shoot. I might shoot the deuces to Sam, man. Wish him good luck, man, and
All
tell him
right.
holla at me when we see him in the streets.
All right, you Brad Holmes. Ring a
Mhm.
ling a ling, ring a ling a ling. Answer your phone. Kurt, your phone is ringing. Ring a ling a ling. Hey, Brad, this AG man. What's Am? What you thinking? I like Sam Laporta. I won't. What you thinking? You give us 17, and Sammy, we'll let you move up to 2. What you got?
Okay, we can do that if I ain't got to give you nothing else. There's those two players, the pick and Sam Laporta. Let's do it. Let's make the move.
Now, I don't think that's gonna how it's gonna go at all. But word, I
Hell
would I
no.
would probably do that too. I like Sam Laporta. I don't know. I probably would. I probably would just because if you want to if the goal was to replace Alexander Loney or a player like that, I definitely believe Sonny Styles could definitely fit into that. Especially if he can come in and become a more sure tackler and everything like that. And I believe that's a thing that can happen because the Lions in the past don't know how many years, 3 or 4 years in a row, or how many years in a row, have been amongst the top 5 in missed tackle percentage. So one thing these boys can do is tackle. So go ahead and close this out. You had mentioned we were speaking about just what Brad Holmes may do or anything like that. Recently, he just put out a press conference. What was this press conference for? Like, was it just like was he
Pre-draft.
somewhere just pre-draft press conference? Okay, I was just
Yeah.
like, why did he do this? But did he want to just get up here and just say all this? He wanted to lie to us real quick, but this press conference has Lions fans feeling all types of ways. Main
Yeah.
reason for myself was the comment about just going all in. They asked him specifically about going all in, and he said, or about F them picks, and he said, I think y'all get mad at me when I do that. And the question is like, cuz when have you done that?
I
And if you want to point to a few scenarios, but I don't think we would all agree that those are all in. So what do you think about that? And
well,
just give your thoughts on it.
I think that the F them picks is a, what do you call that? Subjective, right? Because F them picks to one person is another F them picks for somebody else. And I think the most recent one, F them picks scenario for me would be the Jameer Gibbs pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's all in because I traded back but I picked a guy who for positional value, people was kind of frowning upon that pick. And you look at a guy like Jack Campbell, where it was like it, F10, like I said, F10 picks is subjective to what you want it to mean. And he was like, well, F that positional draft pick, this is what I'm picking at this guy. It's not just F them picks as far as like most fans, and maybe because of Les Snead and what he did out there in LA, he's like, I'm gonna give away these picks and get this player. You know, sometimes it can mean that, but sometimes I think for him, I think F them picks means he picked players in positions where he moved around and got, saying guys, F them picks would have been last year with the Tesla, right? So gave away a whole bunch of third rounders for this cat, man. And you look at that at the end of the year, how it was paying off for the Lions, man. I think Tesla is going to be a remarkable talent for Detroit. So,
Right, I do agree, but in playoffs, yeah, we missed the playoffs. But man,
I understand. See, for some people, all in, and then, like I said, FM picks, it's subjective. I think he moves around the draft board up and down. I think that's his definition of FM picks, and saying going all in on the player, which it may not be what he considers that is not what fans and other GMs consider FM picks. But you look at some of the guys that he's picked up, right? You look at a Jack Campbell, first team All Pro. You know what I'm saying? Last year, man, developed. I think the Lions are still in that. We're going to take a guy who fits our scheme and we're going to mold him into what we want.
word. Curt, I'm gonna just because I know that you are, whatever. But man, come on now, that was a gigantic, that was a big old reachy reach, man. Come on now, that's because I get it because like that was that's the point that I guess got everybody yelling and acting all upset.
Now, I get what some fans want. They want the big name guy. They want this guy. They want that guy, and they want him to trade away the future and to get those saying picks. But you can look at our GM, man. Our GM builds to the draft. You know what I'm saying? And he probably wants to keep as much draft capital as possible. So, saying he can make moves, but you never know. He traded some picks to get Carlton Davis. You know what I'm saying? So you look at,
just to let him walk. Just to let him walk. But you got a compensatory pick, right? Or something. I think we got one of those, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, for him. You look at, and more people are complaining, veterans are complaining about some of the deals that Disney puts together with all their void years in the back end, which it doesn't give the players as much security on the back end. Anzalone said the same thing. Carlton Davis said the same thing. Khalif Raymond said the same thing. Like, if for the veteran players, it wasn't as much guarantees on the back end. It was front loaded, saying. And the thing with the front loaded is that they get the big chunk up front, but the salary is smaller. And the big years are tacked on the end, and but it makes it easier for the Lions to get out of those years with the voided years. They can, hey, like we could technically cut bait with TJ Reed this year and not have a big cap hit the next couple years. So we'll see.
And that's where I'm not as mad with some of these, because I don't get it. It's just how everybody be like, it's a business, until this kind of stuff happen. They be like, well, why you ain't do this? Because it's a business. Why you ain't, it's because it's business things to it. Players got to go. And we all said this too. It's for like, I don't know, people just say stuff just because it sounds good coming out their mouth. And people will sit up there and say, oh, we're going to lose players that we like. We're going to lose some of the fan favorites. Everybody's going to have to cope with it. They're going to be replaced with better players. And maybe that's the thing, because we ain't necessarily seen the better players, at least this round yet. With players like Dave Montgomery gone and Alexander Zaloni gone and players like that. But just in the past, people were upset about losing. Dang it, and my light went out. But what's my man Jamal Williams? People were really upset about losing, him and stuff like that. And even some people were more upset than others about losing players like Isaiah Buggs, even though he had some whatever he had going on. But just not saying he's a fan favorite, but just losing players, just and then now, you're losing names that we actually do like and, are way more familiar with. And we just see how the fans are reacting. So I personally don't know, but I thought this, like I say, I thought the whole time I was like, why did he do this? Like, he just wanted to get up here and tell us, like, he wanted to get up here and just say some stuff. Like, he must be fried. Like, he must been sitting in his office, been drinking and hitting that cigar, or if he was saying that Benjamin or something. And he's like, man, you know what? Call him up. I want to tell y'all something. He got up and said a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't necessarily agree with.
But most of the GMs that Monday prior, a lot of GMs have that pre-draft, kind of like that last kind of press conference before. and just to get out there and talk. I think Dan probably had one right before the draft, as well, just to kind of like, hey, this is what we're doing, or this is the direction that me and Dan are looking at. I mean, me and Brad are looking at, but uh, you look at it, man, like Brad Holmes he's gonna get his talent in the on the first 2 days of the draft. He's very good at the first 2 days of the draft. Some days, some people day three, what I'm saying? Amon-Ra St. Brown, day three pick, what I'm saying? So you look at it, man.
Derek Barnes,
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kirby Joseph. Or no, he was a day 2 pick, but
No, yeah. So he does well. Not just the first round, but some people still down on TA, man. But we'll see. He's making some strides before he got hurt last year. You look at a guy, saying some of the day twos don't work out. Saying like Broderick Martin, or saying right now the one Pascal we had to saying we cut him loose. So I mean,
Kobe Sorsdal,
those are all,
Sione
yeah.
Vaki.
So
my man Giovanni Manu ain't done much yet.
I mean, but like no GM hits on 100% of the draft picks. That's what you guys are called prospects, man. No one's 100% on anybody, because look how many first round busts that you have in the NFL, quarterbacks, and people reach for guys. And look at Anthony Richardson, man. That was a huge reach, man, and for a team like the Colts, man.
And Lions fans want him, just for the record.
Yep. And I don't think I think Miami reached for Willis this year. I'm still not. I mean, he's had some splash plays, but is it the same system they running? What I'm saying, you gotta look at where he's going and what he's gonna. He basically went to a team that reshuffling the deck. He's not gonna have a Tyreek here. He don't even have Jalen Waddle. like what are you doing to this guy? You gave all this money to this young guy and you brought him in, but you took all the talent away from him except for Achane. So they're gonna be running the ball.
They're gonna run it. This tank season, they aiming for something else. But I mean, I guess that is what it is. But we'll go ahead and call this the end of Thirsty Thursday. Going hit, man, because you just hit your one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Curt, you got anything you want to leave them with? Just what's your thoughts on the draft or anything else that's coming up?
Well, I'll be on vacay again. I'll be watching the draft on a boat, saying my flippy floppies on. But I think the Lions, don't be afraid or don't be surprised if Brad shocks the world and moves up, and don't be surprised if he moves down. I said this before. I don't think there's 9 spots for the Lions is open. So I think it's going to be a lot of wheeling and dealing for Brad Holmes in this draft. I don't think he uses all those picks. I think he gets some picks for next year's draft. But I think that it's going to be some good depth pieces. You got to look at the core is really set for the Lions for the next year, next 2 years. So guys are going to be under contract. We got to get guys healthy and back on the field like Joseph and Branch. But I think that it's a very heavy defensive draft. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is a draft built for the Lions to retool their defense.
Word. I'm with you, and especially everybody keep talking about allegedly how good next year's draft is supposed to be. So maybe you're right. Maybe it might be building up for next year's draft. But everybody, thank y'all for watching. If you got any thoughts on Brad Holmes, if you think that he really got there and just said he spoke his truth, let me know down in the comments so I can talk some junk to you and tell you how I disagree. But please go ahead and like us and follow us everywhere else. And if you like this video, if you like any of the things that we said in this video, go ahead and hit that like button, please. But until then, see y'all in the next one.